Every Hall of Famer comes on up in Adams, and we love to see a couple more on this Thursday. One guy who already has a gold jacket, legendary running back, Edgerrin James. I've never met Edgerrin James. He makes his debut on the Up and Adams show. Thank you, FanDuel. Thank you, all that. I will be getting his top 5 running backs, and I cannot wait. It's a little controversial. I wonder which running back in the world today reminds him most of him back in the day. He also was drafted by Bill Polian. Think I'm not going to ask him about that? You're wrong. We will have a talk with a guy who will have a gold jacket whenever he decides to stop playing. Look what they brought me today. Is he going to tell me he's retiring? Lavonte David, are you going to tell me you're retiring? I'm not ready for Lavonte David to retire if he decides. I mean, Demario Davis already tugging on my heartstrings, playing with me. I'm not ready to see these guys leave. I'm ready for some of them to get gold jackets, though, and hopefully we'll talk about that. Let's look at some things, guys. We will, of course, be in San Francisco, Bay Area, whatever you want to call it, next week. I want to start with Drake Maye this morning. He's got this shoulder injury that I asked Brian Hoyer about yesterday, just at the quarterback spot. What do we need to see? What is it? We know if he's listed for limited all week, what does that mean going into next week? He said not to worry about it till next Monday. One day? That would be Wednesday. Ultimately, this game will come down to Drake's ability to handle a swarming Seahawks defense. Mr. Hamilton dug into the numbers like the sick pup that he is. And this might come as a surprise to some people, but Drake has been... I'm gonna get it on Twitter. Drake's been the best quarterback in the whole league this year under pressure. I just don't believe me? Read it and weep. Drake has thrown for the most yards, the most touchdowns of any quarterback this season when under pressure. The highest completion percentage and quarterback rating as well. The rating's actually the second highest we've seen in the entire decade that Next Gen Stats have been tracking this stuff. So, this is historically great. Exclamation point. And he's dealt with a lot of it, by the way. Drake has faced the highest volume of pressure of any quarterback not named Justin Herbert, who gets licked every 3 seconds. The part of it scares me up against the Seahawks defense is this: the O-line cannot let those Seattle pass rushers live in the backfield. The fact that Drake handles the smoke so well gives me some confidence that's going to play huge. That being said, this Seahawks defense, the way that I've been thinking about it, they're just a little different animal. You know, the dark side might end up taking its place in history alongside the Legion of Boom, the Monsters of the Midway, the Steel Curtain. We're looking at and should enjoy a truly iconic defense, and it really is because the secondary is very special, very standout. It'll be remembered, and they're really unique. I mean, we got the rookies. We've got, obviously the guys who've been on our show. Yeah. I'm feeling this. The more I think about it, the more I think it'll be a low-scoring game. As we continue here, we've got Devin Witherspoon, first All-Pro nod this year, PBUs on both 3rd and 4th to shut the Rams' comeback attempt on Sunday. He's super physical. Nick's getting the attention, Kobe Bryant, Julian Love. Everyone here is really reliable. Like, I feel good about them. And there's some guys that are really, setting my expectations high for this one to get a nice little situation off of Drake Maye. Reek has fallen out of favor, it feels like, since last year. Somehow there were rumors at the trade deadline. So look at how amazing he's been, and such a thunderbolt, too. Like, when I was at Packers training camp to end my training camp tour and they got in that brouhaha with Tucker Kraft and this defense, it was really Woolen that was the emotional heartbeat of that fight, and he's been that all season long. But in this, stretch to the Super Bowl, 6th lowest completion percentage in the entire league allowed. And then the formerly undrafted Josh Jobe, who's been a full-time starter and ranks 4th in the same category, as you just saw. It's Stingley and then it's him, and he's just below him. So as I'm trying to wrap my head around what's going to happen, what I think the score is going to be before, telling you my thoughts as you head to FanDuel each day and hopefully hang out and have some fun there. Drake and Josh McDaniels, I don't know. Like, they got to have some sort of lightsaber, good Yoda, Skywalker-y stuff happening, because this dark side might take this thing over. And it would not, if they do, it won't be pretty. It'll be real ugly, actually. Lots to talk about. Lavonte David on the show. Edgerrin James making his debut on Up and Adams. A true great. Very, very excited to have him. A Hall of Famer. I do want to take a sec to talk about the Bills' hire, internal hire of Joe Brady. Bills fans aren't enthusiastic, and I very much commiserate with the idea that maybe bringing someone out of house would be better, because how else do you eradicate maybe even just the vibe of it, the 5 turnovers of it, like who's ultimately responsible in that? You have 5 turnovers in what should have been your road to the Super Bowl. And then you just get a promotion because of that. Like, it's all kind of funky, right? Like, I get that. But if you wanted a reason to think that this is a great thing, that this is like, this could be a good decision, and you want to trust in something, I'll present you with some numbers that might get you excited. The truth is, Joe Brady has made this team better from the moment he took over as offensive coordinator. And that does excite me. I want you to look at these numbers from the 41 games that Joe Brady's been the OC versus the 41 games before he took over. And consider the context here, too. The Bills have had the best record in the NFL since they made that switch. They averaged the 2nd most points per game over that span, most of that coming in the post-Stephon Diggs era. And if you look at that third row, that pretty little third row, Josh Allen's turnovers have been cut down significantly in the regular season. The offense as a whole has gone from the 3rd highest turnover rate to the 2nd best over that span. And you also consider the defense. They're still very good. They went from number 1 in the league to 10th over that span as well. So all those numbers and data to say this, despite losing an all-pro receiver and having the defense get worse, the team has won more. They have scored more since Joe Brady entered the door. And yes, Josh has been the biggest part of that for sure. He's an MVP, one of the best players in our league for sure. You can't look at those numbers I showed you and think Joe Brady didn't play some huge role in bringing that MVP level of play out of Josh Allen. And yes, like, Dable deserves some credit, Josh deserves some credit, and all parties deserve blame for what happened at the end of the season as well. But I don't know. I'm sort of excited to see those numbers bear out. Why would you not want, it's over now. You don't have any say. Wish him success. And hope that this sort of ushers in a new era and he puts a stamp on things that Bills fans can be excited about. We will be back after this on the show. Up next, Lavonte David on the program. Oh, there he is, my guy. Let's rip some smelling salts together this morning. I think everybody over here in LA could use it. Do you have just like a pin, maybe? I just think that this is so not okay. A bobby pin? Maybe like a bobby pin, I could pin it somewhere. It's okay. I don't think there's anything you can. Okay. I mean, now.
That was something I was worried about.
Yeah.
Because usually we hide it with your hair.
I know, but like sometimes I wear my hair up.
I like it like that.
I think we need to just like invest in like maybe a cord that's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one is yours.
Oh, I could maybe try that. Give me that. Yeah. All right, dude. What do you got, bud?
I also want to say, too, like, the interesting thing, like, case study with Joe Brady, when you look back at it, too, was having him take over for Dorsey in the middle of the season. Like, this wasn't a year-to-year thing where there were a bunch of other variables.
Yeah.
It was, as soon as he took over for Dorsey, there was a marked change in the offense. There was a marked change in Josh's play as well. So we kind of saw the impact he had directly.
But is
versus
anyone
like,
can I see myself, please? Is there anyone that's going to be able to, like, I guess the only real question is, like, is Joe going to be able to be the guy who gets him to manage the game better, since he hasn't yet?
in those bigger game situations.
What do you make of
and
that?
it's a valid question. And, I think that's where you weigh the coaching versus the personal responsibility of the player in those moments too, Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say that is we'll see. But yeah, there's reasons to like him. I think he would have had a job in a second elsewhere, if it didn't work out in Buffalo. I honestly do believe that. I think, he is one of the best young offensive minds we have in the game. So, and I know Bill said, yes, he ran a lot of screens, but when you talk about them not having the downfield threats,
is there like a clip?
That,
this is like an open kind of. It just doesn't clip. It's like a thing you put in like a bun. Sorry. No, that's not gonna work. God, that's like a gator. No, nothing. I'm good.
And I like too, when you look at how he called that game against that Broncos defense, like he had that Broncos defense, shook in ways that we haven't seen an offense do to them all year. And I think a lot of that was the play calling.
So you're saying it's Josh's fault. That's all I'm hearing.
I'm not. It is
more Josh's fault than
partly
Joe's.
Josh.
So why would it? So why would it change now? I guess, right? Like.
Well, that's where personal development comes in. Maybe that game will be a turning point for him.
I liked Hoyer's idea.
With Flores and Dable?
I kind of liked it. I mean, the Dable part would have been cool.
Yeah.
Lavonte David, the do-everything linebacker.
I'm fearless. Come on down my way. I'm fearless.
He's back. Lavonte David.
Yeah, 'cause there's money to make.
Intercepted Lavonte David.
Can't escape. I'm fearless.
Super Bowl champion, all-pro linebacker for the Buccaneers, Lavonte David. Long time no see. Last time we saw each other, we were in person talking smell and salt. It's great to see you. Congrats on wrapping up year 14.
Yes, appreciate you. Like you always say, man, always good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, and I know you want to analyze some stuff. You've got great connections to these Super Bowl teams, and we're going to do that. But can I show you my favorite play of the year from you?
For sure. Let me see it.
What do you think it is? Here it is. Take it away.
My favorite blitz. Certain blitz that we got called, kind of like a readed blitz based on the back. And, one of my favorite ones, always come home with it. There should have been a sack fumble, man. They got for me to get a chance to, kind of trifecta, the sack, the fumble, and the fumble recovery, but they didn't give it to me. It kind of sucks. But that was a big change in momentum play in the game, and I'm very proud of that one.
First play of the fourth quarter, you're downplaying it. I think Mac Jones remembers it, probably still has nightmares about it to this day. By the way, you're the active leader in fumble recoveries by a lot.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? You have 7 more than TJ Watt. That's a lot.
That's something I didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? Throughout this whole season, there's a bunch of stats that I didn't know about, and people would just, throw them out to me and things like that. But, I don't keep track of them and everything, but
yeah, I'm
definitely blessed for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes to show, I've been balling.
Yeah, I guess you have, and we'll talk about that more. I have a feeling you kept tabs on this one. People are telling you stats you don't know. But I'm pretty sure you know what happened in Week 18. Huge milestone.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I know that one. I know that for sure. Throughout the season, people was, kind of like in my ear telling me about it and stuff like that, keeping track of it, especially family. They telling me about everything. So,
we're talking, here's, for those who don't know, you tied Hall of Famer Derek Brooks for the that's unbelievable with what you're doing. The last in tackles, I believe. There you go. 1,714, the last one you just saw in the fourth quarter, that hugely important game. When it happened, what did you think? What does this feel like?
When it happened, Sharon Corals came over and told me, he was like, man, you just tied the record for Derek Brooks. And, we on the bench and all the guys heard him. So, after that, they wanted me to get back on the field some way, somehow, to be able to break the record. But I'm blessed. I'm pleased with what transpired. But above it all, what I'm saying, be able to tie him, a legend in his own right, is an incredible feat.
And you've always spoke so highly about him, to me, to everyone, and what he's meant to you. I just feel like we can't end this on a tie.
Yeah. Hey, that's funny because a lot of people have been saying that, but ultimately, it's my decision. I'll figure it out. If it's a tie, it is what it is. If not, either way, I'm kind of happy, satisfied, to be honest with you.
You've had 3 straight one-year deals. You said after the season, I'm going to take some time to think about it. Can you take me through, as much as you'd like, your thoughts the past 3 weeks?
Oh man. first and foremost, disappointed, that we didn't get a chance to make the playoffs, but it's our fault. It's our fault. We can't blame nobody but ourselves. The way the year ended, the last 8-9 game stretch that we had after starting 6-2 was kind of like disappointing, to say the least. But definitely after the end of the year, I have my conversations with Jason and Coach Bowles and my position coach, and just go from there. Ultimately they always leave it in my hands, as in the past 3 years, 1 year deal. So it's always up to me and what I want to do. And so far, I just been chilling. I'm back home. I took my little girl to school today. Mm-hmm. I'm having fun with that. And, adulting a little bit, running some errands, doing different things around the house and stuff like that. But, football, I'm always have love football. Football always going to be there. I've been watching the playoffs, obviously. Ready to, sit down and watch the Super Bowl with friends and family. I think I might host a Super Bowl party at my crib, but, that's still to be determined.
Are you cooking something? What is that going to look like on Super Bowl Sunday?
No, I have stuff catered. It'd be too many people. Once it get to 10 plus, I ain't doing no cooking. I have it catered and stuff like that. But all in all, I'm just relaxing, letting my body heal, and see where I go from there.
Do you feel differently around Super Bowl right now than you did last year, as far as what your future holds? Because you've had this, and it is up to you, and you've earned that. When it comes to what you're feeling, how you're feeling, whether or not you want to come back for year 15, does it feel different than what you felt like going into last year?
I wouldn't say a big difference. It's just, last year, I didn't have, certain things I went through last year. I didn't have, I wasn't really, say, like, I know just the Washington game when we played in the playoffs, I was kind of like obviously pissed about that because I felt like we should have won that game. So I was a little more motivated, I would say, to come back. And, but, this year it's still motivating, but definitely different things, take place now because of, certain factors that I've, encountered.
I'm guessing Todd Bowles is coming back, which is incredible. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't coming back, would you already know that you're not coming back? Like, how is he tied to you, right? I think if he didn't come back, I think you might leave.
Yeah, if Bowles wasn't coming back, it was no shot, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, that's a fact. Just me and Bowles just had that relationship. That's my guy, man. I've got extremely comfortable with him, comfortable with his defense, and just our relationship is just, just like that from a player-coach relationship. That's something that I always wanted. The past, 7 years I've been working with him. It's been really, really, fun and a joy just to understand his football knowledge. And for me, being in year 14 and still learning things about football that I thought, most people probably like, oh, I have it all figured out. But every year he teaches me something new, every time. And him as a man and as a person, man, he's everybody in the locker room love him. Obviously, the media and the fans give him a hard time because he's not, he don't have you don't see no character out of him. But, we see it all. So that's why we love him, man. It definitely wouldn't have been a different talk if he wasn't coming back. But, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? We have constant communication, and he'll be one of the first people to know what my decision would be.
I feel like DeMario came on my show, DeMario Davis, this week, and I asked him about when are we redoing the deal, because he's such a saint, and he's doing the right thing and saying, I'm coming back to the NFL. And I actually kind of started crying because I can't explain it. It was just like, when you ask a question, I know what the answer is going to be. And there was no world in my head where he was going to say, yeah, I want to test the market. There just wasn't. And I was I truly was speechless. And then I look at you and I want to ask kind of the same question, is there any world where you'd play for a different team if you decide to come back for year 15?
To be honest with you, I don't think so. It was Bucs or no else. I played my 14-year career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they've been real. They've been loyal to me. The fans have been real loyal to me. My family grown to love the city. They know everybody in the building. I know everybody in the building. The relationships with the guys that I built throughout my career, you know, and especially those younger guys that I built a relationship with. I don't think, you know, me being somewhere else, I won't feel right. I don't know if I'll be able to take it serious enough, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. It probably feel awkward, feel weird because, you know, I know the ins and outs of that building at one Buc, and you know, me walking to another city, walking to another building, it'd be a different aspect for me, different training grounds for me, and I don't think I could be able to being this late in my career. I don't think I could be able to withstand that. But I'm a Buc, man. They've been loyal to me all these years, and it's gonna continue to be like that. Until
and if you go there anywhere else, like you can't break Derek Brooks' record. That's truly that's the most important part, right? Like you got to stay in Tampa to do that thing.
I mean, but that's in the back of my mind. Like I said, I'm not really thinking about that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think it should be. I'll keep it right here for you. I want to ask you before we get to Super Bowl 60 and get some analysis out of one of the greatest to ever do it, Baker Mayfield. So I'm there. I come to Tampa. We're talking smelling salts and how everything's great. We're celebrating the 50th year. We're like Super Bowl. You know, the division isn't enough. Baker looked so good to start the season. I was like a buka and like all the things. I looked so smart because I was like, they're going to. And then there's a lot of takes. There's a lot of criticism, whatever, about what happened in the second half. I can't figure it out. I don't have a good take on what happened. Can you, did y'all run out of smelling salts on the offensive side of the building? Like, what happened with Baker down the stretch?
Just a lot of factors that goes in with football. You know, just the main thing is injuries. Injuries all across the board, from the offensive line to the back end to the skill guys, and for himself. You know, so it's just hard to deal with that, to continue to play at an extremely high level. And you know, defensively, we didn't help him out as much as we should have. You know, when we was on the field too as well. But you know, what you saw out of Baker is what you're gonna get up from Baker, man. He's a complete dog. You know, that first half of the season, you know, he's a complete dog, playing healthy and controlling the offense, being high powered. You know, that's what he is.
Yeah.
And I feel like things would be different. Obviously, it's not an excuse and everything, but things would be different if, you know, we were consistent with, you know, with the guys on the field and, you know, everybody just being healthy and, you know, being, you know, at least close to 100%. But
it's so, you know, true. That is the way it is. He had like 5 different injuries he was dealing with. You guys don't want to talk about it ever because you don't want it to be an excuse. But I was in my morning meeting and it's like the injuries. Like he had like a list, and then the O-line was banged up. Like we're just looking at Baker here. What we don't also maybe talk about a ton is just like the OC dilemma with him. I mean, it's another one bites the dust or one gets poached or whatever. We went back and looked. He in his career has only had consecutive OCs once. Van Pelt back to back. I think it was 2021. So now he's got another one. Zach Robinson introduced. I give a lot of credit to Todd Bowles because he's this constant that keeps him competitive and consistent. But maybe how is that what is this Zach Robinson guy got? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm sure, you know, having all these different OCs, you know, plays a huge part in it. I know it'd be different for me, you know what I'm saying? My first whatever years, I had about, you know, 5 different, you know, defensive coordinators, and I know how being able to transition and how to get on the same page and try to figure out what the coaches want and how he want things to operate and stuff like that. So I couldn't really imagine how difficult it is for Baker with him being the quarterback of a football team. So I know there's a lot of pressure on him and stuff like that. But knowing Bake, he's going to handle it well. And, you know, obviously having a little bit of familiarity with Zach Robinson and, you know, what he did with Atlanta and how, you know, honestly, call it spade for spade, he gave us fits, you know, defensively with the stuff he was doing over there. So definitely looking forward to, you know, seeing him, you know, get the offense back going because, you know, they got the weapons, you got the guys, and you got Bake to, you know, distribute the ball throughout to those guys. So should be exciting to see. And I'm pretty excited for Bake. And I saw a couple of clips of Bake was at the press conference and stuff like that. So I know he's ready to, ready to take control.
Let's get to Super Bowl 60. Now, you played the Patriots earlier this season. There's this moment where Drake comes up to you and he like downplays his running ability, right? Talking about a spy. What? Like, is that just gamesmanship? What is he trying to do there? What'd you make of that moment?
Yeah, you know, I think he was this year, I think he had the most scrambles up the middle or something like that throughout the season. And, at that point, he was doing the same thing. And I was designated to spy him in our game on certain calls. And I was spying him. And he was like, come on, man, why they got you spying me? I said, basically saying, like, you know why we spying you just because, you were scrambling. You like take off up the middle. He was like, nah, basically saying, trying to downplay his ability and things like that. I'm like, come on, man, you a young guy. And look, you like these clips right here. He took them to the Super Bowl off of just scrambling and running the football. So, I was able to, minimize that for the most part. But we definitely should have got that win. I wanted that one big.
I want more designed runs for him if the Patriots are to win the Super Bowl, I think, against the Seahawks. And, like, obviously I talked to the pass rush this morning about how great Seattle is at that. Like, how worried should the Seahawks be about Drake's legs? Maybe that's a good question for you.
Yeah, it brings a different dynamic. Me being a linebacker, I hate going against scrambling quarterbacks, running quarterbacks, because you don't have nobody to account for them. You got to be able to fight off a block and, go, beat somebody or anticipate certain things. But sometimes, you just got to let the play out. And then when you have those design runs, those designated runs, those QB sweeps, and things like that, things that Josh Allen do and Lamar Jackson, those guys do, it's kind of, difficult. It's unstoppable, to be honest with you. But,
He's unstoppable.
I mean, it is, because you got an extra guy and extra guy to block and the quarterback can run free. But, after, just watching Seattle defense, man, those guys are hungry. Those guys be hunting, led over there by my guy, Ernest Jones. So I know those guys going to be ready for those certain type of things. But knowing Josh McDaniel, I don't think he'll probably run him purposely as much. Yeah, I think Drake may have to do it on his own on the scrambling.
If he's watching that game against you guys, Josh, with his visor in his office, he's watching Baker run all over them.
Yeah.
Baker ran for like 60 yards against them. Just saying. I don't know. And y'all won the game.
I think it was more scrambling though, and not much
design stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. On the Seahawks side, my friend, you had the game-sealing interception on Sam back in Week 5.
Yeah.
What did you see here?
Yeah, it was the same blitz that I said that we like to call, but I gave it to Savasi this time because I wanted to make a play, and I had making a play on my mind. We was that game right there, man. The play needed to be made, and we was hunting for one. We wasn't doing our best defensively, and I told him to take the blitz no matter what. And I said, I'm gonna cover and I'm gonna try to go get a pick. And, truth be told, that was what happened. And I was able to make it. That's why I was so excited right here, talking my stuff, doing my little rundown impersonation and things like that. And, it was a fun football game. And, Seattle, you knew right then and there, I feel like if we would have did our part, I think we'd be able to get back to them, match back up with them in the playoffs. But, we knew there was going to be a team to be reckoned with after that game.
What do you think this game comes down to from your eyes? How does it go?
I think takeaway is the best. It's going to be a defensive football game, in my opinion, honestly. After watching these two defenses go at it all year, making plays throughout the playoffs. And I think whoever creates the most turnovers will win this game. And I think, Seattle got those guys who can do that, with the playmakers they got with the spoon, with Ernest, like I said, with Marcus Lawrence, rushing the passer and all those guys. So I think they can get it done with that. But my boy Carlton Davis over there in New England now. So a piece of me wanted to win another one. I talked to him after the game. He ended up calling me. We had a good little conversation and stuff like that.
What did he say?
He's just excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you're going go throughout the year, you're just taking it one game at a time. And at the end of the day, you look up and you in the Super Bowl again. And he was like, it just happened so fast. And he's excited. And he's happy to get after it, happy to get it again. And then I told him I kind of like was happy for him when he had those interceptions in the divisional round. I was messing with him like, by the time you finally catch the football, So, it was fun to see that though. But that's like my little brother, man. That's my guy. And I definitely want to see him succeed.
I keep thinking about who the next guy is that you guys pass the torch to in a long time from now, because you're not going anywhere. But when you and we'll talk about Luke here in a minute and Bobby, I just always, and I think it's probably annoying to you, I always just lump y'all together because y'all are, and you're, by the way, entirely too nice to each other.
Yeah.
And I hate it. Like, you're too kind to each other as line. I've always wanted you to hate each other. Why is that impossible?
Because it's just a respect thing. I mean, you kind of like watch guys from college and then kind of watch them succeed in the NFL and the league. And, you go through that same journey, that grind and knowing what it takes, and then you see those guys succeed. And it's hard to, dislike somebody who's kind of like putting in the same work as you and having the same passion for the game as you. And, you just basically kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror. You're not going to hate yourself, So,
That's good. That's a good line.
Guys, yeah, those my boys though, man. Those my boys.
I know, but Lavonte, the Hall of Fame is wildin' these days.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame is crazy.
So it's like, what is even the lesson right now with this? Because our boy's a finalist again. He didn't get first ballot. His career was short. Yeah. I love Luke Kuechly, as you do. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't get in, are we just out? Are we is there a world where he doesn't? What would your reaction be? Can you imagine?
Yeah, if he don't get in, I have no shot. Let's call it space for space. I have no shot if Luke don't get in. Because, for a long time in this league, he was the linebacker, the prototypical linebacker everybody wanted. And, even though he played an 8-year career, he dominated in those 8 years. So that's what it all matters. That's what it all comes down to. His career was derailed by injuries like most people, but in that time that he played, he was a force on the field. And, if I could vote, he'd definitely get my vote probably 100 times. But, we're going to see how it turns out this year. But I honestly think he's going to get in.
I love that. I think you're all going to get in. And then I wonder if you'll mention each other in your speeches, because I think that you're a man against quarterbacks and you're a man against offenses and a man against his own greatness, year in, year out consistency. But how much did y'all motivate each other? Like, Luke, how much of Luke's success is because of Lavonte David and vice versa?
I can't speak on them, but for me, for sure. Every time I'm playing against those guys, I kind of in my mind, I want to be the best linebacker on the field. I'm going against their defense. I'm going against their Luke Kuechly. I'm going against their Bobby Wagner. And that's what drove me. Every time they made a play, I was like, okay, it's my time to come make a play. I wanted it to be that type of thing, that type of competition. And, honestly, knowing those guys, I'm sure they were the same way. They competitive edge, they passionate they have for the game. They wanted to be able to make plays. They wanted to be walking on the field, being the best linebacker on the field. And I think that's what make us great, just because that competitive nature and us just wanting to be the best out on the field, no matter who's out there.
You, Bobby, Luke bound for the Hall of Fame. Hopefully we'll find that information out next Thursday, a week from now. Wow, a week from now at NFL Honors in San Francisco. And then at some point you're going to leave me. You're all going to go, be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm so curious, where does it go from there? Who's the next? If you had to nominate someone where you're like, I'll put it to you this way. Who will be the next gold jacket at the linebacker position after you three?
I mean, you got to give it to Fred.
That's
Fred,
right?
Fred is dominating. Roquan still dominating. I'm a fan of Jack Campbell down in Detroit. He's playing really good football. I'm a fan of Edgerrin James in Seattle.
He's crazy this year.
Yeah, he's coming to his own, man. And I remember him coming out as a rookie. We trained together. And I know he's going to be a great one for years to come. I'm a fan of the position, so I'm always be rooting for those guys, obviously, because, everybody always try to downplay the linebackers and talk about how less important we are. But, we make everything go. We make the defense go. When you see great defenses, they have great linebackers. So, with those guys, I think those guys going to, carry the torch really well.
Lavonte, how hard is this decision for you that you have in front of you?
It's very hard. It's extremely hard, honestly, just because, the game is all I knew. I've been playing football since I was 6 years old, and I'm 36 years old now, and I never missed a year playing football. I always, kind of played at a high level, but I always said, if I'm not able to be out there and be able to be my best, take control of the game like I know how to, I don't think it's worth it going out there. But, still back in my mind, being me, I feel like I can. But at the end of the day, a certain other facts that lies into my decision. So, I'm gonna take a little time, take a little bit more time, and see where I go from there. You never know, a sign might pop up. Luke may get in the Hall of Fame, and I might be geeked up, and I want to go again. You never know.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's you're doing the smart thing, which is like, let me see how I feel. I think and it's truly like a blessing from God that you have the agency you have the decision. Like, it's a blessing to have a decision, because it's not like that for everybody. But I was thinking even like Stafford, like he lost this game. What a heartbreak. It's like surviving a death. But then you're like, but I played so freaking well. Like, how could I retire if I can still play at the level? You're still playing at that level. So it's like, what becomes the decision? Like the emotional investment, the time investment? Like, I don't know. What is the decision based on? Your body feeling good?
Your body, your mental aspect, your daily routines, the regimen, the people. It's so much stuff that lies into it, you know what I'm saying? Because when you get around this, you get this age, like you said, man, I want consistency. I want to continue to work with the same people around me all the time. And, I want to be able to, have my schedule laid out and just certain type of structure that I like and things like that. So all that plays a huge factor. But, the main thing is actually how you are mentally and how you are physically. If you feel like you can go out there and play, 17 games.
Well, then that means you're coming back.
Hey, it's possible. It's possible. I'm never ruling nothing out until I say so. So it's always possible. As long as I'm.
Yeah. Do you and this guy talk about it?
Oh yeah, of course.
What are those conversations like? Because I can't like, they literally brought me some tissues today because they're like, don't cry about Lavonte if he decides to retire. I'd be happy for you. And by the way, I think you should be on TV.
Yeah. That's something I've been thinking about too. Okay. But all that's coming, after the decision's made. But
what's going on with this guy?
Mike being Mike probably somewhere boxing or something like that. He like to box. He probably playing basketball, pick up basketball, whatever it is. But me and Mike conversations are personal conversations. So that's stuff that I can't really air out and stuff like that. But Mike, my guy, man, I love that dude.
Last one for you. That Lombardi trophy behind you looks very tough. Just looks very cool.
Yes.
Where does that go on Sunday, Super Bowl? Like, are you putting that in the middle of the catering? Like, where does you gotta move that thing for your Super Bowl party. It's gotta be
sure. I gotta show out. I'm gonna put it on display and let everybody know, man, I've been here before. So if I have opinions that I want to say something, I could talk on it. I could speak on it. So y'all, give me a hard time for certain opinions that I thought, because I know what it's like to be there, and most of the people who are gonna be invited over hasn't.
Yeah, but they might say, I don't remember. And then maybe that'll geek you up, and you'll say, oh, okay, bet. I'll come back again and do that. I hope that's what happens. No.
I got the jersey with the patch and everything, so they'll know.
Whatever you decide, Lavonte, so happy for you. And just an honor always to have you. You're an absolute legend. And you belong on TV. I like that you're interested in that. You're trying to see what you like.
Yeah, for sure. I got my people working on it. They've been kind of like nudging me a little bit. So it's something I think about.
Yeah, excellent. Lavonte, we appreciate you, and we hope am I going to see you next week? No, you're not coming. You're going to be at home.
No, I'm not coming. I won't make it next week.
Okay, got it. Well, enjoy time with family, and we'll see you at training camp with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2026. Take a short break here. I hope we have Edgerrin Cooper. I don't think we do. Or not Edgerrin Cooper, Edgerrin James. Well, whatever. Cool. Well, we don't have Edgerrin James. No. I'm great. Oh, no.
Lavonte's the absolute best. Whatever he does next, he's going to crush it. If he plays this year or not.
He's going to play.
Yeah.
He's not retiring. He couldn't come up with something that was different from last. What was his answer to that? He felt different
Yeah.
from last year. No,
He said that last year the way that playoff game, like he felt like they should have won, and it was a little more motivating. Did sound like the way this year ended was a little deflating, but again, having Bowles back, assuming Mike's going to be back, having another shot to.
Do you think? Yeah. Do we have Tyron on soon?
We do.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
I wonder if
He's-
Tyron,
Yep.
a year removed, is happy he didn't play for the Saints this year. I wonder.
Yeah.
Because that year didn't end great, but then the Saints kind of went on. You know, like, I think that had something.
Yeah.
You know, do I really want to do this with another new quarterback and whatever? Like, is it like that same?
Yeah.
It almost is like the faith you have in the team.
Yeah.
He's not leaving
Absolutely.
Tampa. He's not a traitor like DeMario. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, having that continuity has to, is not, it is very different from what Tyron had at that point. He was talking about some wild stuff yesterday, by the way. But.
I don't know what are we doing here? Oh, okay. Here comes Edgerrin. Great. People just think that I'm being some sort of heretic about like, and you keep taking me down this tunnel of like Drake May, the greatness. That I don't know if
he's
I'll
an
ever
MVP
recover.
finalist.
I do want to say, Philly fans, get a grip.
Yeah.
You and Bills fans, like, get a grip. I have been so pro Jalen. Literally, go bark up someone else's tree. Not me. Not over here.
Oh. And we're just supposed to discredit an MVP finalist?
Handoff, Edgerrin James through the hole.
It's the closest I've seen to Barry Sanders this year.
Edgerrin James for the touchdown.
James looking for the end zone. Now this is a good illustration of power and speed.
Joined now by absolute greatness. I've never met you, Edgerrin James. You're a Hall of Famer, four-time Pro Bowler, three-time All-Pro. So excited. I mean, let's go back to 1999, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Edgerrin James, welcome to the show. How is Miami? The reunion.
It's good.
Tell me.
It's a little chilly right now.
Oh,
It's
you're
a little
there now.
chilly out. Yeah, I'm here now.
Tell me about the Natty. It was Ed Reed, who I love, friend of the show, Michael Irvin, colleague of mine, friend of the show, you, Ray Lewis, a room full of Hall of Famers. Paint the picture.
No, it was good. It's the norm for
Look
us.
at this.
Everybody getting together. Everybody getting together, having a good time, enjoying life. And we just didn't get the victory, but we came pretty close. And for us, that's a big deal.
Who won the most money on this craps table? Who knows what's going on?
Devin Hester won all the money that night.
I love to see it. Also a friend of the show, and now you are. You stood out in a program full of Hall of Famers, and really in like a golden age of running backs. You had LT and Sean Alexander, friend of the show, Marshall Faulk, to name a few. When you look back at that beautiful era that I miss, what are you sort of most proud of personally about carving out your place, which had to be very hard in that group?
Well, I guess being a complete back, being able to do it all, because that was pretty rare to be able to do all three phases of the game at a high level. And that's one thing I took pride in. And when you had all those guys, everybody kept everybody on their toes, because every week you're looking at what everybody else does and how they're having success, and it just kind of motivated each other.
Edge, the Super Bowl is next week. The Seahawks are in it, so you know which game I want you to talk me through. Take me to the year 2000, my friend. 219 rushing yards, week 7, 3 touchdowns. What do you remember most about this all-time iconic performance?
Oh, man, that was one of those, we got off to a slow start, and so was looking for a boost in the running game. We wanted to get you want to get the running game going. Then all of a sudden we go to Seattle, and we made it a point of emphasis that let's get our running game going, because we're going to need the running game as the season goes on. And they gave the opportunities, and Seattle gave the opportunities, and it just worked itself out.
Edge, what did you feel like after that game? Like, what do you remember what you felt like?
No, it was football. It was like, man, you want to carry the ball, you want to get the ball, and you finally get an opportunity because, you know, we play in a pass offense. And in the pass offense, you know, it is all based upon the situation. And that time we made it a focal point to make sure that we're going to run the ball.
In this Super Bowl, Super Bowl 60, in the Bay Area, the running backs aren't quite iconic household names. Kenneth Walker crushing it, though. Ramondre Stevenson, so big. Henderson. They're high-level players, though, and they're going to maybe decide the Super Bowl. Which back do you think has the best Super Bowl performance?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Well, overall, I'm going for, I think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to win, so I have to go with Kenneth Walker.
What do you like about his game?
Oh, he's so shifty, and it's like he's always trying to fight for that extra yard. If you see him, he goes in those cracks. Sometimes he's making some runs that you don't expect him to run, and it's like he's driven to actually finish the run. And that's one thing that you see the running back. Some running backs, you know, they don't just finish it the way he finishes it, and that's right. That's something that's old school running when you look at him.
I don't know. I feel like somehow, some way, the Patriots might get it done. So I'd like to talk about that side. If you're nervous about anything, what do you think their biggest strength is that you're sort of thinking about ahead of this matchup?
You say for the Patriots?
Yeah.
For the Patriots, they're a good football team. You know, they're a good football team. And the thing about them, they're not going to beat themselves. You know, they remind me of back in the day Patriots where they play good football. They keep everything underneath. They don't beat themselves. And they're going to play good sound ball, good defense, and they play team ball. So that team is going to come to play. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I just think that Seattle, you know, I think it's their turn. You know, it's a rematch from 2015 or back in the day.
Mm-hmm. You have, it was 2015 in Arizona, I believe, which was just absolutely wild. Katy Perry Super Bowl halftime show. I was there. I remember. You have a gold jacket, so you speak from a place of authority, my friend. I just had Lavonte David on, who wants to go to the Hall of Fame, and I said, Hall of Fame's wildin'. I don't know what's going on. What do you make of Bill Belichick being denied a first ballot bid?
I think everybody's shocked, but going through this process and seeing this thing happen year in and year out, there really is no rhyme or reason why certain things happen. So you just kind of just go with the flow, because a lot of times you don't know why certain things happen and certain things don't happen. But it's out of our control, and hopefully we continue to improve and make the process a whole lot better.
There's a lot of drama surrounding a guy you know really well, a guy who drafted you, Bill Polian.
Yeah, I saw that with BP, so I really don't know what's going on, but you know, I think it'll all work itself out. But I wish Bill was getting in. I was looking forward to it. You know, me and Jimmy Johnson was talking about it during the University of Miami Natty run. You know, he was talking about he was excited to be going up there because Bill was getting in. Then all of a sudden, don't look like Bill's getting in this year.
Okay, Edge, we gave you a little homework, and you delivered.
Oh.
We did. We asked you. I haven't seen this yet.
Oh.
We asked you, our producers did, for your top 5 running backs in the NFL. I think we just have them all at once. Let's take a look. And you can maybe talk me through your list.
Well, first of all, James Cook. He's a South Florida kid. He led the league in rushing. I got a chance to watch him play youth ball. And then throughout high school, you know, I got a chance to check him out. So that was one of the guys. He did his job this year. He led the league in rushing, which is something that is not easy to do. Derrick Henry, he is the one that you look at and you say, man, you know, he represents the running back. He's killing Father Time right now. He's playing at a high level, and it doesn't look like he's slowing down. And, of course, JT, you know, that's one of my faves. You know, play for the Colts. That's our organization. We'll always pull and watch him carry that team. And then B-John up in Atlanta, man, he just got game. His game is nice, and he does it effortlessly. And then Christian McCaffrey, you got somebody that's the total package. You know, you watch this kid, and he can do it in both phases of the game at a high level. And then Gibbs, I just like Gibbs' style. You know, Gibbs running that ball. Like, I just like his style, like the way he played. Him and Montgomery, they complement each other, but I had to add an extra one in there because they said the top 5, but I think Gibbs got to be in that thing also.
I know Jonathan Taylor doesn't have it in him to be mad at you or anything, but he might feel some kind of way about you not putting him at number one. He led the league in touchdowns. There's certainly a case. It's a hard list.
Well, it's hard to disregard the guy that led the league in rushing, and so you got to pay homage to that. And everybody understands how this thing goes. You know, you want everybody. That's my top five, and it can go in any order, but you got to pay respect to the guy that led the league in rushing this year.
Oh, Edge, I don't think he gets any respect. I think he gets overshadowed completely. James Cook is a brilliant talent. I'm so glad he's there, so glad he got paid. I've always loved his game. I'm glad that you're giving him the love. He deserves it.
Oh, yeah. He needed it. I mean, it's supposed to respect. The respect is due. You know, he did what he's supposed to do. He led the league in rushing, and now you got to get back out there and do it again.
He's not an Offensive Player of the Year finalist. How offensive is that?
Oh, man, I don't know how many guys. I mean, there's so many guys that's out there. I've seen this happen before, but he won the rushing title, so that's good enough.
Which NFL running back reminds you of yourself most?
I really don't know which one in particular, because I kind of did both. I did some of everything, and like, man, it's not so much as old school grind it out anymore. So it's hard to just put one as the one that kind of reminds me of myself.
If we look at Canton, we talked about the Hall of Fame. You said things will work themselves out. I think that's a great take. It'll all be okay. Your guy, Frank Gore, my guy, Frank Gore, named a finalist for the first time. Edgerrin James, from one Miami guy to another. What is the pitch, the campaign for Frank to be a Hall of Famer?
Number 3 all time. You know, that's always been my take. You know, to be number 3 all time, you're talking about somebody that had to go through the ups and downs and have the stamina to stay in the game, because it's hard to stay in the game that long and continue to play. And for him to have 16,000 yards, that's the pitch for me, because it's only 2 other guys that have more yards than him. No matter how they came, it's hard. And then to be able to do that, and especially knowing Frank and what he had to endure to get there. You know, he had 2 ACL surgeries, and for him to continue to just play the game and do what it takes to be able to play week in and week out, that says a lot.
Never missed games. Always consistent, and how that can get
Always
overshadowed.
available.
It's like we needed Edgerrin James to come tell us, like, you guys think it's easy to get a yard in the NFL? Like, yards, weirdly. It's what you're saying about James Cook. It's what you're saying about Frank Gore. It's like we overlook how hard it is to get a yard. Like, even that statistic somehow gets overlooked. It's bananas.
Yeah. Yes, it's very hard, but to consistently do it, that's something that is worthy of Hall of Fame consideration instantly, because you're talking about 16,000 yards. He has 16,000 yards.
I can't even understand it. The math is crazy. You mentioned Jonathan Taylor. He's in your top 5 list. He could be one. He's obviously a made man. He's not going anywhere. He passed you on the Colts all-time rushing touchdowns list, though you are still ahead in those hard-earned yards, James. But what kind of a relationship do you have with him? Do you ever reach out to one another? Is it from afar?
No, I'm active. I'm involved with the Colts organization a lot. So you're always talking to him. And for me, it's always giving advice. He knows what to do. He knows how to do it. And you just always be a sounding board for those younger guys. And my main thing for him was always, hey, continue to take care of your body. You know, you got to carry this team. You know, there's, you know, especially going through the quarterback situation, and like then the team is going to lean on you. And the most important thing you can do is be available and take care of your body.
What do you think they should do with Daniel Jones?
Well, first of all, you got to come off the injury. You know, once you recover from the injury, and then pick up where you left off. You know, you started building some momentum. You know, every year it should get better. I think the injury is the only thing that's a question that you have to sit back and assess, because you never know how those things, you never know the outcome of those injuries. But hopefully everything works out, because they usually do, and get back to where the team was at.
One last one for you, just because I never get to see you or talk to you, and thank you for making time. I love records. I love numbers. I make any take I have is based off numbers. I never played the game. That Adrian Peterson 296 in 2007. Yeah. Will it ever happen? Because Jonathan almost did it. I'm like, on my couch, I'm tweeting, I think he's going to do it. Will it ever be broken?
I think so. I think because of the fact that, most records, they're broken and it's possible to do it. It's just a matter of somebody just coming in hot, hitting a big run. And JT is the perfect example because JT can hit a big run at any time. And I think as the years go on, I don't think it's going to be easy to do, but I think somebody will come along that's special and they come in hot and they're going to have their day.
Yeah, these coaches need to stop pulling these running backs when they're going. That's what happens.
Well, it depends on the game. You can't, when you do certain things like that, you can't disrespect the game. You got to make sure you do it within the game because if it's about we're going to just feed the running back and he's just doing this to break the record, then it's not going to be as authentic.
I guess I'm like, stop. They have like a hook. They take them out. Like once they're going I hate that. I'd like to, okay, the game's one thing, but I want to see the record.
Yeah, but it has to come within the game.
Yeah.
The best records are broken within the game, and it's like you can't disrespect the other team. You go out there and you disrespect the other team, then you get a lot of flack for the record. So when you get the record, especially as a record holder, you want to be the one that I truly earned this. We didn't just take advantage of it.
You're the Hall of Famer. I'm not going to argue with you. Edgerrin James, I appreciate you so much. An absolute icon. Thank you. Good luck next week ushering in a new Hall of Fame class. You're a goat. Right. Nice to meet you.
All right. Thanks for having me, man. And sorry I'm late.
Bye, Edgerrin. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, we're back. Here we are. Bay Area, up in Adams. More Hall of Famers will be here. We are starting next Tuesday. We are going to do a show here to start the week, and we will be live for 2 hours. I believe the first hour is on television, and then you got to subscribe to the YouTube at Up and Adams Show. For the rest of it, I think Gronk's coming on. I know that. I don't know who else. It's a work in progress. Maybe this guy.